Today we are going to look at some cases of living beings that one way or another ended up inside human beings. Top 10 living animals found inside people. In China, a doctor was surprised to discover 25 small cockroaches living inside the ear of a 19-year-old man. The young man woke up one night due to pain and itching in his right ear. The doctor suspected that a female cockroach had entered his ear weeks before and laid eggs there. They also said that the ear could have been completely destroyed if medical help had not been sought in time, since these insects completely block the auditory canal. Children in the city of Pradesh, located in India, often play a rather dangerous game. They challenge each other to eat live fish. 12-year-old Anil Barella nearly lost his life playing this game because the little one choked on a 9-centimeter fish that ended up in his lung. Within a few minutes, he could hardly breathe and had to undergo emergency surgery. The live fish was finally removed and the young man recovered. Well, a person in China suffered for weeks from a disturbing noise that no other person could hear. Because this person was afraid to go to the doctor, they came to believe they were being punished by evil spirits. However, when they went to the doctor, they discovered that a small spider had burrowed into their ear and even spun a web inside their ear canal. Attempts to remove the spider caused it to react violently, and therefore it moved deeper. Fortunately, the doctors were finally able to remove it safely after a trip to Rondalas and a visit to her doctor for an itch on her scalp. The doctors initially thought that the lumps on Dallas's head were a reaction to insect bites, but then they realized they were moving. The lumps. They turned out to be 5 larvae of an aggressive species of fly that is common in some parts of Central and South America. Apparently, a fly had bitten Dallas and then laid its eggs in the open wound. Finally, the worms were removed, putting an end to the painful irritation that Dallas had. In 2007, doctors in India treated a 14-year-old boy who, curiously, had a 2-centimeter-long fish stuck in his bladder. The fish had been causing him intense pain for several days before he sought medical attention. The boy claimed that, while cleaning his aquarium, he felt the urge to go to the bathroom, and while holding the fish in his hand, it slipped, and somehow it got into his penis. At this point, I wonder if he even believes his own story. In the end, the live fish had to be removed during a rather delicate surgical procedure. A 75-year-old man visited the doctor because of an itch in his eyes. The doctor, upon examining him, was horrified to discover that a 12.5-centimeter worm was living there. They quickly had to perform emergency surgery to remove the live worm. The doctors said the man was very lucky, as the worm only made its way to the eye. And luckily it didn't go to the brain, because if it had, it could have caused him significant brain damage. In 2012, a woman in South Korea was eating semi-cooked squids when she suddenly felt a sudden itch in her mouth and spat out her food. Apparently, she had chewed the squid's sperm sac, and a series of small squids had attached to her tongue, gums, and cheeks. Luckily for the doctors and the woman, they were easy to remove since more than 2 years ago. A man had been examined by doctors due to severe stomach pain, anorexia, and chronic anemia. Finally, it was discovered that the man had been infected by a parasitic tapeworm that had settled in his small intestine and measured more than 6 meters. The doctors told him that he had probably been infected with the parasite by eating raw meat. 3 months after the operation to remove the worm, the man showed none of his previous symptoms and returned to a healthy weight. Daniela Liberani suffered from nosebleeds for weeks. Doctors told her that they were probably caused by a ruptured blood vessel due to her recent motorcycle accident. One day, the 24-year-old woman noticed a black lump in her nostril, and to her horror, realized it was a leech. At the hospital, they had to use forceps and tweezers to remove the parasite, It's most likely that the little creature latched onto Liberani during a trip she made to Southeast Asia, where she had been living for some time. More than a month. During surgery, doctors discovered a 50-centimeter adult eel in the small intestine of a 59-year-old man from China. The man had been experiencing sharp pains in his abdomen and severe anal bleeding. Apparently, the eel had been inserted into this man's anus as a prank by his friends when he passed out drunk.